Let's start off with prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Okay. I can't sing, but I try. I pray for, who am I going to pray for? Let's pray for all the doctors and nurses, everyone in the hospital specifically my best friend's widow, that they're protected and stay healthy, and we all pray for them and thank them for their service. For this we pray to Lord. Lord, hear our prayer. Pray for my mom and dad, who I haven't seen for over a year. They're both in Saskatoon, and I miss them tons. And talking on the phone just isn't the same, especially if I talk about my mom's lasagna. But we pray for all the elderly and pain-free, especially my mom and dad, and I'll get to see them at least by summertime. Just pray to Lord. Lord, hear our prayer. Let's go 2 more personal intentions. Somebody you know or don't know. Brooke, move your hair. Pray for somebody you know or don't know, please.
I'll pray for my grandmother.
Awesome. So let's pray for all of our grandmas. God bless mine in heaven. Keep them healthy and happy, and thank them for who you are, because they're a big part of it. And we pray that we see them soon and hug them soon. For this we pray to Lord. Lord, hear our prayer. And one more. Awesome. Pray for brothers and sisters. If you have a brother, you're lucky. I don't have a brother, but I pray for my sisters. And it's everyone pray for your brothers and sisters, that they have good days at school or good days at work, and that we get along perfectly with them, because we're going to have a lot of memories together in the future. And you're going to be the super duper auntie and uncle for their kids. For this, pray to Lord. Lord, hear our prayer. Okay, we left off yesterday with this tic-tac-toe chart, and I still think he cheated, but I lost. But I talked about rationalizing, and old guys don't roll, because we are doing rationalizing. We're not doing it today, like I said. Rationalizing is part of the radical unit. So my bad. We're not going to do rationalizing. We're going to go to sine law, cos law, but we'll get to it. So if you put 1 over radical 3 this time in the chart, that's fine. I'll make that work. Okay. So 1 over radical 3 is 10. That's good enough. If you put 3 over radical 3, even better. But I'll mark them both right, since we haven't done rationalizing yet, and we're going to do them. So remember, on that chart, all you have to do is fill that in for me. I'm telling you the question on the test on Thursday. Fill in the chart, and that tells me if you studied or not. And it's not that hard, because these two are the same, these 2 are the same, and these 2 are the same. Okay, so you don't have to memorize 9 things, you have to memorize 6 things. And or you can just calculate them. You remember what this equals? This hypotenuse? Radical 2. Yeah. So you can either memorize that or use Pythagorean theorem to do that, and then everything falls into place with sine, cos, tan. Let's go to the next page, please. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Time off. What do you notice about these 2 triangles? On the smartboard. And if you use your big fat brain, you should all notice something. Someone tell me what I'm looking for. Better. Good. Okay, so every single question we've done has been right angle triangle. That's grade 10 trig. Sakatoa. Karate. Cha-cha. Now we're going into non-right angle triangles, and this is what's going to be, that's how I'm going to set it up on the test. I'm going to give you all right triangles for your first pages, and then you're going to have a separate page on sine law, and coleslaw. In fact, I'm going to tell you which questions are sine law questions and which questions are coleslaw questions. Okay? There's not going to be a whole bunch of these. There's going to be one question on sine law finding the side. There's going to be one question, sine law finding the angle. And then similarly with coleslaw, side, coleslaw, angle. It's a new formula. It has nothing to do with hypotenuse or opposite. There's no right angle, right? We don't have a hypotenuse. So this is the formula we're going to use. It's new to us, but if you know how to cross multiply, you're going to love this formula. Do you know how to cross multiply? Yes, you do. We've cross multiplied for weeks now. So I'm not sure. Well, I guess I do know why the formula is like that, but we're only going to use two of them. Okay, we're not going to use three sides and three angles. We're going to use two sides and two angles to find either a side or an angle. And the setup is going to be like this. Go ahead and write this down. Draw arrows across from angle. Can I use my symbol for angle? Maybe not. That doesn't look very good. Across from angle. Exactly what we did when we started trig and did medium trig and finished trig. Where we see an angle, we draw an arrow across from it. We see this angle, we draw an arrow across from it. And that's going to help you set up this equation every time. Because you can see that this is big A and small a. Big A and small a. Small a is defined as the side across from angle A. Okay, so you're going to have the sine of an angle divided by the side across from it equals the sine of another angle divided by the side across from it. Okay, so this is a setup. It doesn't matter if you choose sine 41 or sine 73. So sine 41 divided by the side across from it, 8.5. You know that step? You got it. You got sine law. You got it cased. Okay, equals sine of the other angle, 73, divided by the side across from 73, which is 8. Okay? You guys, this is on page 22. Please get there if you're not there already. Does everyone understand that setup? That you can't, if you put anything but that, you get 0 because it makes no sense. Okay, so sine of the angle divided by the side across from it equals the sine of another angle divided by the side across from that angle. Okay, or you can put the red ones first and the green ones second. It doesn't matter. Okay, if they're equal, it doesn't matter if you switch the sides. It doesn't matter if you start with sine 73 first. Now, second step is to cross multiply. So you multiply the numerator of the left side of the equation times the denominator of the right side of the equation. So A sine 41 from the blue guys. And then you multiply 8.5 sine 73. Okay, you know how to cross multiply. This one's even easier because they both have denominators right away. So far, so good. Now, we've seen this before. How do we get A by itself if this is A times sine 41 somebody? Divide by sine 41. Exactly. So we do the exact same thing we did when we had a two-stepper Sakatoa question. We divide by sine 41. So go ahead and punch this into your calculator. Let's place some X box. Let you go ahead of me. One second. Thank you. So 8.5 sine 73 divided by sine 41. 7.9. That is wrong. Good job, Carter. If you punch it just like you see it, you're going to get the wrong answer. So give me 1 second, Carter. Try to find out why is that wrong when I press that. Look at the calculator. Don't say anything, just look at it. Carter, what are you going to say? Yeah. So when you press sine 73, it opens a bracket. Right here. Can I write that? No, I can't. You can see you have to close the bracket because it's sine 73 divided by sine 41. This one on your calculator says 73 divided by sine 41. So that's why you get a different answer. You have to close the bracket. So before I give you the answer, or we get the answer together, let's write down the calculator piece. To get this, you have to press 8.5. You can press times if you want to. Sine 73, and then you have to close the bracket. Then you put divide by sine 41. Okay, so everyone do that and get a different answer before I do. And it's fun stuff. So once you do this 2 or 3 times, you'll remember to close the bracket every time. Right now it's a little, why do I have to do that, calculator? Come on, you're my friend. But Xbox wants you to press that magic button and the brackets and then divide, because it opens up brackets. When you press sine 73, it automatically opens brackets. You have to close it before you divide. What did somebody get, by the way? Thank you. Pardon? 12.4 meters. I like how you put units. Somebody get 12.4? Nobody? Anybody? Yes, yes? Anybody over there? Okay, good. Right on. So I'll do that here. And I'm going to leave that on there so you don't do it. 8.5 sine 73. What's next? Close bracket. Then divided by sine 41. Okay, so awesome. Sine law angles, exact same thing, except for at the end you do inverse sine. At the end. Okay, so we're gonna learn to love sine law because it's the same setup. Cross multiply, then divide by the trig ratio, and then make sure you close the brackets. So let's write down close brackets so you remember to do that for your midterm and for your final exam. That we're not getting the wrong answer. Okay, so close brackets when you punch that into your calculator. Okay, your turn to do B. Let's go one step at a time. I'll give you a minute to set it up. The first step is the most important step. You have to know how to do the first step. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do any sine law questions. Has everyone written this down? Writing. I'm going to delete it. About 30 seconds. 12.4 muchachos is the final answer for full marks. Everyone got it? Okay, here's the hint. Give you 30 more seconds after I do that. And you should do that so your mind doesn't get confused. You don't have to, but I would recommend it again so you remember how to do it in June. Anybody's birthday in June? Speaking of birthdays, my birthday's in March. So if you all group up, I'm just kidding. All I want for my birthday is homemade pierogies. Oh. And 12 pounds. Okay, so I have made a deal with God because my birthday is always during Lent. So yes, I do. I talk to him face to face, no phones, no Zoom, face to face. Me and God, I said, hey, can I please have Gold on my birthday? No, of course. It's happy birthday, not unhappy birthday song. So I'm allowed to drink Coke on the birthday. Yay. I love my birthday because it's always about 2 days before March Madness, my favorite sporting event. And this year, the Flames are going to give me a nice birthday present by beating Oilers by a lot, probably by 17. Yeah, but we hit the post 27 times. I don't know. I can't even defend them. They're horrible. Now, if you go there, we'll say Markstrom is twice as good as any Oliva. We'll see. We'll see at the end. Melbourne was 7 times worse than you guys that day. I can't believe we're going to lose 2 out of 10 games against Oilers. Oh, it's embarrassing. So again, doesn't matter if you put sine 24 or sine 108 first. Thanks for having my back, Skyler. Divided by b equals what, Skyler?
Sorry?
What's next? Sine.
Sine.
Yep. Divided by this side across. Perfect. Okay, so now I'll give you 30 seconds ish, probably 35 seconds to do the next step. Go ahead and cross multiply. Okay, so this, put the number first, 12.9 sine 24 equals b times sine 108. Anybody get that? So far so good? Tell me. Got some nods, some thumbs, good. Okay, next step. Another 30 seconds, do the next step. How do you get b by itself? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to solve for b. Next step, somebody? Yep. Nope. Anybody? Perfect. Divide by sine 108. That means that equals 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. So we're left with 1b, which is b. And now, Xbox. But make sure you press a certain button to get the right answer, and don't forget it. Okay, so Xbox, don't forget to close the brackets. I'll get someone to tell me what keys to press. Oops. Okay. Leighton, you're looking at me. What do I press on my calculator?
12.9.
Yep.
Sine 24.
Nice.
And then close your bracket.
Sweet. Close bracket. Oh, I'm 24. Go ahead. My bad, not yours.
And then divided by sine 30.
What'd you get?
5.5.
We're gonna get 5.5. Perfect. And finish it off for full marks. Muchachos or seagull, whatever you want. But okay. Next thing we're gonna do is talk to Leland about the Flames and Oilers game on my birthday. So you talked a pretty tough game. Are you willing to bet a delicious, refreshing Coca-Cola on that game? A case, okay. Well, we won't do a case because that'll get me in trouble. But I will take one plastic bottle or can from you. Or if somehow you guys beat us 7-1 again, I will give you a can or a plastic. Deal? All right, Jake. Okay, next, C and D. You got 5 minutes to do these 2 questions or for homework, but in 5 minutes we'll correct C. Okay, so good job, good job. If you have any questions on how to set it up, please ask me. Otherwise we'll come back and okay, most of you look done. So that's how I would start. Who can set it up for me? Anybody, somebody? Go ahead, thank you. You say sine 80? Good job. And the weird thing about this is my old high school football number. This is my first football number ever. I'm surprised they don't retire those numbers in the entire world. Okay. Not funny, it's true. I caught 1 touchdown in 6 years. That was awesome. The only game my grandpa and grandma went to. I finally got my touchdown. Kicked 8 converts. We crushed them until the 8. Okay, what's the next step, somebody? Probably wants to talk. Okay, hold on. Let me get the red out. So 4.7. Good job. Sine 80. Okay, 1 step ahead of us. So that equals the stuff in black. What's the stuff in black? Yeah, good. Perfect. And you said that, okay. Divide by sine 31. Sorry, I was 1 step ahead of myself. Divide by step sine 31. And you got to punch this in your calculator, and you have to do it correctly. What do you have to remember, everyone? You have to close the brackets, and probably by now you remember it, and you'll always do it. Might as well do that on here. Chloe, what do I press on my calculator? Yep. Good. Full brackets! What'd you get? Looks perfect. And that's my university number. I love this question. And green. Gotta put it in husky green. Wow. This is the best question of my life. Love you, man. Okay, everybody got 9? Good, good, good. Let's go and move to sine law angles, and we're going to do the exact same thing, but at the end, you're going to put inverse sine, because you're finding an angle. Okay, you're going to start the exact same way. You're going to cross multiply as your second step. So let's get to it. and go ahead and try to set up this first guy. So next page, and go ahead and start example 1 before I even teach it. And the question is find the missing angle. The missing angle is A. The lawyer. Okay, so hopefully you put sine A divided by 5.4, or you could put that second, it doesn't matter, equals sine 70 divided by 6.3. Okay, everyone understand that step? Or you could put black on the left side and red on the right side, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter which angle you choose first. Anybody get that? Show me if you got it. Okay, you understand the first step? Right on. Well, they said no. You okay?
Oh, no, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, next step is to cross multiply. So 6.3 sine A equals 5.4 sine 70. So this is where it gets a little different. So what do you think you do next on this one? Don't blurt, let everyone think about it for at least 20 seconds. I think the next step is if we're trying to get A by itself. Anybody know for sure? Really? Okay, perfect. Yep. So this is what you don't do. You don't divide by sine 6.3. That's not sine 6.3. That's 6.3 sine. Okay, so you can't just flip them and make up your own rules, okay? This sine is not part of the 6.3. It's part of the A. This goes together, sine A. It's not sine 6.3. If it was sine 6.3, it would say in that order, sine 6.3. Vish? So here, before you get A by itself, you need to get sine A by itself. And exactly what you do, you divide by the number in front of x. Just like you have since grade 7 and 8. You divide by the number to get x by itself. In this case, it's not 4, it's 6.3. So divide both sides by 6.3. And they equal 1. So 1 sine A is just sine A. And now you go punchy X box and punch that into your calculator with the reminder again, and I want you to write it down again because it's so important. Close brackets. Otherwise, it will not work. So 5.4 sine 70, and what? Close bracket divided by 6.3, and you're going to get a decimal between 0 and 1. So 0 decimal, and then let's go to 4 decimal places. 8, 0, can't remember what it was. Actually, I don't even look. 5, 5. And now we're back to like the first question we did on the first day of trig, or maybe the second. After I got your life story, you got mine. Now what do? Inverse sine. So go ahead and figure it out. Before I do, show your work. A equals inverse sine of 0.8055. Punch that into your calculator. Second sine, decimal 80 Hannafin. Equals 53 or 54? 54. Now you're finding an angle, so you do not put centimeters. That's full marks. Okay, these are 1, 2, 3, 4-step process. It's fine. You know what? You can do all of these. Okay, it's cross multiply. As long as you know how to set it up, cross multiply and solve, cross multiply and solve, cross multiply and solve. Then when you get to this page, inverse sine at the end, inverse sine at the end, inverse sine at the end, because you're finding an angle. Any questions on this one so far? Okay, let's do the next one step at a time. So take 44 seconds to do the first setup in B. And I'll leave this on for another 30 seconds, unless you're still writing it down, and then just tell me before I clear it. Good, Talia? What we're going to do is now looking at that answer. Well, okay, first step, you can work ahead if you wish, but just make sure you check out our first step. Make sure you're on the right track. Talia, go ahead and tell me the first step, please. Yep, exactly. How about that and that? Okay, shoot.
And then sine cube over 19
Perfect.
equals sine 92 over 19.
Perfect. Okay, so you guys, you have to get that. I can't really give any marks if you don't write that first step because it doesn't make any sense. Or you can put the red on the left side and black on the right side. That's the exact same thing. Okay? So you can start with sine Q or sine 92, it doesn't matter. But what is under sine 92 is the side across from 92, which is 28.6. That's the first step. Next step, go ahead, take another 25 seconds, as most of you are there already. Same second step as the last page. Okay, cross multiply, top times bottom equals bottom times top. Our numerator times denominator of the right side equals the denominator times the numerator of the right side. Anybody get that? Okay, now this is a little different step from the last page. You have to understand, do you divide by sine 28.6 or do you divide by 28.6? Everybody? Good. So divide both sides by 28.6 to keep it balanced and equal. And you get sine, half my nickname, equals whatever this turns out to be. So go ahead and punch that in your calculator and finish it off. Nice square root answer, shirt. So, what an answer. Square root answer. There is. Huh. Doesn't that math totally come? All right, so this one. You might want to tell me what the punchy? Who wants to play Xbox? Any gamers? Haven't talked yet. No, you'll get a high score. I'll give you a medal or whatever you get in video games. An achievement. I'm giving you an achievement. All right. Meg, what do I punch in to get that on my calculator? Please.
92.8.
Yep.
And then sine at 92.
Good.
I
Perfect.
divided by 28.
What'd you get?
0.61.
Absolutely. Okay. So 0.691, and then we're going to round to 9. And then finish it off. I'll give you 10 seconds if you didn't get that part. Just one extra step compared to what we did for science. Half my nickname equals inverse sine. Oops. 0.6919. And final answer. Trend. Listen. Okay, 44. Yep. Right on. Okay, half my nickname equals 44. And of course, either half my nickname. Not better. That's the thing. It's not QI, that doesn't make any sense. QT. Self-talk. Positive self-talk. Knock yourself in the mirror for hours, like I do. Awesome. In fact, my whole walls are mirrors. Why use wallpaper when you get mirrors? Why use paint? Right, Hudson? New haircut. All right, let's go ahead and do C and D, 5 minutes. We'll crack them, and I want to just, I want you to do the diagram in D. So let me give you 7 minutes, and then make sure you can construct a triangle with these triangles. Pause if you're podcasting. Pause. Okay, so this looks like a science experiment. I'm trying to find a sub for Coke. Yesterday we tried the cherry blackberry, 4 out of 10. This one is mango peach. So I'm guessing I will like this one. I like peach. Not so good. Still no bubbles. It tastes like that peach skin. Yeah. Try a new flavor tomorrow. Try to find something. Try to give up something for Lent or do something for Lent. I'm also reading Coach's Bible. But I like to give up stuff that is hard because it's good for self-discipline. Builds character. If you do it, you can be proud of yourself. So I've done giving up Coke and cheese. Cheese is actually harder for me to give up than Coke, believe it or not. I tried it 1 year, it was terrible. But we'll try it. Except for on my birthday. On my birthday, I get to drink a pallet of Coke and 25 pounds of cheese. Can't wait. All right, let's do this one. The setup is sine, Mach 17, divided by the side across from it equals, let's change it up, sine of V, sine of angle V, divided by 169. Next step, cross multiply. I always write this one first, you don't have to. 169 1 times 117 equals 262 sine V. Next step, I can't remember. What's the next step, somebody? Everybody? Divide by 262. That equals 1. That equals close bracket. So sine Vicky equals, go ahead and punchy, 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 4 decimal places. $169 sine buck 17. If I don't close my bracket, I'm going to get the wrong answer. So close my bracket and divide by 262. You make it 0.5747. Am I on the right track? Thumbs, nods, good. Yep. Thank you. And then I do inverse sine of that equals V. Show my work like we did in class. Thank you, thank you. And I'm not going to punch that in. Everyone say it at the same time on 3. 1, 2, 3. What?
35.
35. Okay. Anybody get 35? Everyone got 35? Super duper. Do not put millimeters. It is not side, it's an angle. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Homework is, or no, I was going to talk about D. Sorry, let's go to D. I told you old guys don't roll. And do this diagram. Anybody still writing that down? We're good? All right, clear page. Clear page, not reset. So this diagram, you're going to start by drawing, when you draw diagrams, constructing triangles, more for grade 11, you're going to draw the angle first. Okay, so just write down yourself a note, draw angle first. So you're going to draw a 34-degree angle. That's 45, so 34 is going to be a little smaller than that. So there's my 34-degree angle. It didn't ask you to draw a diagram, but most of them will. So go ahead and draw this diagram, please. And that is angle H. So you put the H there. Now the side across from H is 7. So let's put 7 there. But 11 has to be not twice as big as 7. It doesn't look too bad actually right here. So I can put my 11 here. And units isn't a bad idea either. And so this is small t, so it's across from big T. Okay, and then HTA rocks, we all know that. We're in school. And from there, you know what you're doing. Okay, so we're not going to do it. Now for this one, you wouldn't really have to draw a diagram. You could go sine 34 divided by 7, the side across from it equals sine t divided by 11. But most of the time, you're going to be asked to draw a diagram. And again, with the word problems tomorrow, on Thursday, I mean, test is on Thursday, you have to draw an accurate diagram. You can't make every angle you draw 45 degrees and call it 12 and 10 and 72. It has to be, if you have a 34-degree angle, you need to make it less than 45. Or close to 30 if you want to do it this way. 60, 30, 34 right there. Okay, looks like the same one as the other one. All right, now let's fly over here. And this is awesome. There's the formula you're going to use to find a side when you use cosine law. Now, to help you out, what formula does that look like? Pythagorean theorem. We use Pythagorean theorem to find what? Sides or angles. So this is what you're going to use to find a side. Okay, you use the long square rooty thing. In fact, it is Pythagorean theorem, except for we have cos of 90. Everyone punch in cos of 90 in your calculator? What's cos of 90? Talk to me. 0, so that's why it cancels and becomes the Pythagorean theorem. Because cos 90 equals 0. However, we don't have 90 degrees now, so we got to use the whole darn thing. And I know what you're thinking. You want to get a math tattoo. I understand. Probably get one here, here, and here. But go as a group, because you'll save money. I know a guy who'll set you up with this beautiful formula. The good news is this scary looking formula is the easiest thing we're going to do today. There's nothing to this formula. Your calculator does all the work. X box, X box, X box. There's no steps. There's one step and you get the answer. Okay, you only use this formula when you have two sides and the angle in between, and you're asked to find a third side. I'm going to call this small a. That's the only very specific formula. And again, I'm going to tell you this is going to be on the cos law page, and I'll have two questions. You have to understand which one's the side, which one's the angle, and you have to understand you're going to use this formula when you're finding the side, just like you would for Pythagorean theorem. So don't be worried about this one at all. We love this question. If it says find BC, which I'm going to call small a, let's go ahead and do it. So C equals, you don't need to write the formula down. I am going to. And there's really the only way you can mess this up is if you don't square root it. But if you don't square root it, you're going to have sides of 3, 6, and 64. That makes no sense. So if you don't square root it, you should be able to look at your answer, and it's not reasonable. It's going to be way bigger than the other two sides. Or you might miss the 2, but don't miss the 2, because I'm going to give you the formula, and there's a 2 in it. Pretty much, you're going to get these all right. So let's write down what we're going to put. You notice it is, say, positive, negative. We're going to have to put, because it is distance, at the end again. Square root of. Now, it doesn't matter if you put 3 squared plus 6 squared or 6 squared plus 3 squared. It does not matter. 3 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 3 times 6, the sides. A and B are the sides. Doesn't matter if you put 3 squared plus 6 squared or 6 squared plus 3 squared. And then cos of the only angle you see. What's the angle? 36. So cos 36, or I'm running into the triangle. So go ahead and try to punch that into your calculator. And believe it or not, your calculator does all this. This is what you want to work on tonight for homework. When mom and dad are around, accidentally push dad into your homework table, or mom, and they'll buy you a Jeep. Look at this. They're going to see you do this. What? Yeah, no problem, Mom. I'm a genius. At least give me $2 for a Slurpee. So you'll get somewhere between a Slurpee and a Jeep tonight if you show them the homework you do. I promise. Before I get the answer, let's write down the calculator keys, please. So second square root, 3x squared plus 6x squared, subtract 2 times 3 times 6, and you can put times if you want to, cos 36 and equals. Again, we love this if we love gamers. We love games, we love Xbox, PlayStation. We love graphing calculator because it's even more exciting than all that stuff. If you agree, say aye, aye. What are we finding? We're finding small a, so let's put small a here. And let's punch this into our calculator. What'd you get, somebody? Somebody on this side? Somebody in these 3 rows. Oh, these 3 rows. Or these 3 rows. How much? What'd you get for the answer? Even though we haven't done it yet. Great, what you got?
4.0 centimeters.
4.0 sounds right. Anybody get 4.0? I don't even know. Yep. Okay, it's not a very good scale diagram, but let's put it. Let's see what we do here. Okay, where are we? We got sorry, square root. I almost forgot to put the square root. Second square root, 3 squared plus 6 squared. You can put just 9 plus 36 is what? 2. Subtract 2 times 3 times 6. Cos what? Was it 36? Thank you. Equals 4.0. Perfect. Well done. Great with the decimal 0 part. And then put centimeters. Okay? We're done. We don't have to divide by sine 121. We have to divide by 12.2 and insert sine at the end. We're done. Sweet. So go ahead and set up B. Is there any questions on this one, first of all? We understand you better understand it because you're going to have a tattoo. Like, it doesn't make sense to get a tattoo and not understand the formula. You have to get them all right. Okay, so B. Go ahead and do B. No, I lied. Do A, and then when you're done A, go ahead and do B and C. That'll be for homework. Any questions? Class almost done. And I pause. Pause. All right, my friends, that should be enough time. See how you did. Again, this formula is only good for 2 sides and the angle in between, and when I ask you for the other side. If I do, oh, jeepers. We blew it. Why do we not get full marks for the question that we did? Why did I lose half the mark? Forgot to put what at the end because it's distance. So at the end of this question, please put A equals 4.0 centimeters positive because it is distance. That's good enough for abbreviation for me. We have to discount the negative answer because it's a side, it's a length. All right, this one. Want to get that? Write that down for A, please. Just like we did for the Pythagorean theorem. This one, x equals the square root, so positive, negative. I'll give you the formulas. When you see positive, negative, in any formula, you need to put because it's distance at the end. It doesn't matter if you put 20 squared plus 25 squared or vice versa. Subtract 2 times 20 times 25. Cos what? The only angle you see. Punch that in. And use your square root button and your x squared button if you want to. So square root, I'm going to put, instead of 20 squared, I'm going to put 400 plus what's 25 squared? You put in the money. You have 25 quarters, you got $6.25. Subtract 2 times 20 times 25 goes 30. We get 12.6. Yes? Yes. Okay. 12.6 centimeters, and then you got to put x equals 12.6 centimeters because it is distance. So don't forget that part, please. Any questions on Cos law finding sides? Long square rooty thing means you're finding a side. That's when you use the long square rooty thing. You have to know which formula to use. The next formula is the one you use for angles. It's the same formula, actually. It's just rearranged, manipulated. but we're going to use this version of the formula to find an angle. Now, I don't know whether to tell you this is going to be harder, but it is going to be harder. You guys know it's going to be harder if it's a 4-step question as opposed to a 1-step question. That doesn't mean it's hard and you can't do it. It just means it's more steps to this question. But if you do the first step correctly, you're going to get this right every time. You have to know what the first step is. And the first step is if you're finding an angle, the one that subtracts is the side across. Remember A and small a? They have a relationship. Small a is the side across from big A. Okay, so you have to subtract the side, write this down please, across from the angle you're asked. If you don't, you get 0 because it makes 0 sense. So this, by far the most important part, is the first step on this one. You have to know whether to subtract 7 squared or 8 squared or 13 squared, and you can't guess, because if you guess, you can get 33% of your questions right, if you're lucky. Now, let's choose what angle. Do you want to find P? Let's have a vote. P, we can find P, Q, or R. Who wants to find B? No B's. Who wants to find Q? Have a nickname. Already did it. Who wants to find R? Like a pirate. All the hands are up. Good job. Let's find R. So write down find angle R on the question. And then set this guy up. The first thing you should do is draw your arrow across from the angle you're trying to find. That's the one you subtract. Oh, good. I'm glad I kept recording. Okay, so everything else, it doesn't matter if you put 7 squared plus 13 squared or vice versa. But when we write this formula, let's write it in blue. We write down cos of R equals the one that's across from R is being subtracted. So we write down subtract 8 squared at the end. That is a must. The other side, it doesn't matter if you put 7 squared plus 13 squared or vice versa. Now the formula in the denominator is 2 times these numbers, 7 times 13. If you get that, you got it. You did by far the hard part. So yeah, some of you are already working ahead of me. Good for you. The next step, if you do this, is to calculate what the numerator equals. Go ahead and punch that in. Everyone punch in 7 squared plus 13 squared, subtract 8 squared. And if it's negative, don't worry about it. We can have negative cosines now because our angle might be greater than 90. If our angle is greater than 90, you can have cos of x equals negative decimal 2323. So just because you get a negative now and you're not used to it, don't quit. You're on the right track and you'll get an answer like 117 degrees. You don't have to, and this one doesn't. So what's 7 squared plus 13 squared? Let's punch it in. 7x squared plus 169, subtract 64. We get 154 for the top. So that's the numerator. Good job. And now calculate the denominator. 2 times 7 times 13. 2 times 7 times 13 equals 182. And now you have one of the very beginning cosine questions I can give you. Go ahead and finish it off. Do inverse cos. In fact, I'll let you do this if you want, guys. Since there's enough steps here, I'll let you go inverse cos and then just put a bracket around there if you want. You don't have to. And someone punch that in for me. And Boston, you got an answer? Want to punch that in for me? Inverse cos 154 divided by 182. Here's whole number. 37. Check. Oh, 32. My bad. I misheard you. 32. Yep. That's what it said. Yeah. Okay. So what's the trick to this one? It's to subtract the side across from the angle I'm trying to find. So let's say for you crazy people wanted to find Q, find angle Q, which side would you subtract? You would subtract the side across from Q. Okay, if I said find angle R, or angle P, what side would you subtract? You'd go subtract 13 squared. Okay, so it has to be that first step. So go ahead and set up the next question. You're finding angle Z here. And let's set it up. And we'll go one step at a time. Clear page. One step at a time for our angle Z. So go ahead and try to set this up. The formula, sorry, if you need the formula, is right there. Everyone set this up properly, please. And again, show mom how hard your homework is and that you're acing it. And she will make you your favorite dessert. My grandma's apple dumplings. My grandma used to make just for me. I felt so special. Marsha, been podcasting, hopefully?
Yeah.
Okay. You need to know the word problems, more than one triangle. Everything we've done is on the desk on Thursday. Yesterday, that special chart. You saw that yesterday. You have to memorize that. And everything else we've done. So tomorrow, study everything you've done, all the quizzes, study the quest, or the quiz that we had, and the review assignment we'll give you tomorrow. Lots of trade we've done since the beginning, since the day I met you. Grand finale is Thursday. First unit test. You'll do great, just make sure you study. All right, who's going to help? Dr. James and Jillian. Tristan. How do you set this guy up? Perfect. Oops, look what I wrote. Accidentally, isn't that hilarious? It's way funnier on your phone. Get off your phone. Okay, I'll make me talk to you. Okay, cos Z equals. Talk to me. Yep, just cos. Perfect. Yep. Yes. Okay, Tristan, why did you subtract this one? Yep, the side across. Perfect. Well said. All divided by? Okay, good. All right, guys, finish it off. Calculate what this equals and put it on the top in the numerator. Then calculate what this equals and put it in the denominator. And then you're going to get something like cos Z equals 11 over, I don't know, 12, and then you do inverse cos. Okay, so finish it off for me. There's no homework on this page. We'll work on it tomorrow. Pretty great timing by us. So let's finish this one off. And then keep your books open so you can see if you got the right answer. even take my cell phone. Make it a little easier. Oh, you look so worried. You can just, if you don't want to bet, you don't have to bet. Oh boy. You look like you're really sad there. But now you're looking up. I love sports. Okay, so cos equals 6.2 x squared. Oops. 6.2 x squared. That's 4.3 x squared. Subtract 3.7 x squared. Let me just do that in my head, podcast people. I think that's about 43.24. And then let me figure this out in my head. 2 times 6.2 times 4.3. I think that's probably 53.32. Is that right? I just did it in my head. That is right? Oh, geez. I'm brilliant. And now you do inverse cos. Z equals inverse cos of that. Grand finale. Let me just do that in my head. So I'm just calculating in my head now. The answer seems to be the number 36? 36. Check. Do I get 36? Yes. Good job, my brain. Okay, no homework on that page, but finish those other ones off, including long square rooty ones. You've probably done that because they're very quick. And great job. God bless. Have an awesome day. Ha ha ha. Emma.